Good afternoon everyone and welcome to Live Bird TV. So earlier on I did my video for obviously Roberto Firmino, and I think it's also the right thing to do one for James Milner as well. Now hopefully the video looks a lot better because my new webcam has just arrived, and as you can see the picture quality is a lot better. So as I said to you in my earlier videos, I'm going to be getting a lot of more expensive equipment which will make these videos a lot more, better basically. So yeah, James Milner signed in 2015 by Brendan Rodgers on a free transfer at the age of 28 years old, and there's no debate whatsoever in the fact that he is easily the best free transfer that Liverpool have ever had in their history. I mean, being 39 years old, I left school in the year 2000 and James Milner just started playing football. 2001 I think was his first season, if I'm right. Yeah, 2001. Yeah, he's been playing, is it 2001? Yeah, it's 2001. Basically, I was 16 when I left school, the year 2000. James Milner's 36, isn't he? 37 this year. Yeah, so I'm 2 years older than James Milner, and he was playing football. When I left school at 16, he was playing football at 16 in the Premier League, by the way. He's never been out of the Premier League, I don't think. I think he's always played, he's always played in the Premier League. And a measure of the man is the fact that he was Fans Player of the Year at Newcastle and Players Player of the Year at Newcastle. He was Fans Player of the Year at Aston Villa. I don't know whether he won it at Man City, but knowing James Milner, probably did. He's never drank in his life, and he is it looking good, Pam? Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to focus on where my camera situation is pointing, and it's so clearer, isn't it? It looks a lot better. So yeah, I'm quite chuffed about that, really. The equipment's getting better, and obviously everything else will get better in the long run. So yeah, just got to avoid looking down at my laptop, which is right in front of me, because that's what I used to do when my camera was down here, and now I've got to focus up where my new one is. So yeah, thanks for that, Pam. Wish he could stay and coach our academy, such a model professional. Now that's what I'm going to say. It can be a bit awkward. I had a bit of a moment with James Milner when I was working at Anfield. I was doing the sanitising for where they walked. So when the players were coming in through the Kenny Dalglish car park, they would walk through the Annie Road bit and come out onto the corner of the pitch. And I remember once he was just looking at me, and I was like, stood there, I'll go on James, and I was just waiting for him to go in. And he just looked at me, going to say, are you going to move or what? Well, cheers James, I'm in there, mate, earning, probably what you earn in a week, in 3 days in a year. So he annoyed me a little bit, but that's just the way James Milner is. I've been told he's like that. He's got a very Yorkshire, broad sense of humour, But in terms of his professionalism, his athleticism, I mean, I remember when we played Shrewsbury in the League Cup, I think it was, and there was 54,000 there at Anfield, and Klopp wasn't manager. He gave it to he didn't give it to the Pep Linders. He gave it to the one that went and managed Blackpool. What was his name? I forgot his name. You can tell me on the comments. And James Milner was given time off, and he actually decided to stay. And not only did he decide to stay, but he went and gave a team talk to the players, the under-23s that were playing that day, and he stayed and sat in the dugouts. And basically, he was outstanding as a leader for them young players that we had playing in that match, and we actually won that game 1-0, which was amazing considering the fact it was a Liverpool under-23 side against a fully strength Shrewsbury team. So it was a fantastic result considering. But I remember that video, when he's like leaning down, doing his leg muscles, and he's stretching his hamstring and that, and he's pointing at everybody going, right, this is it, this is how we start, this is intensity, this is how we need to, go from the beginning, this is basically, what we have to do as Liverpool players. He's setting the tempo, he's setting the the standards, and I think it's going to be a massive loss. I really do. But I just want to read out this piece. There's a piece here that I found, and it's just come out today, and it's regarding Klopp did offer James Milner a coaching role, but he wants to continue playing. So it's here. So I'm just going to read this out. It says here, Jurgen Klopp offered James Milner a coaching role before his Liverpool exit. Though James Milner was confirmed as one of the 4 players to be leaving Liverpool on the expiry of his contract, Jurgen Klopp had hoped he would stay. On Wednesday, Liverpool officially announced that Milner would be departing Anfield after 8 years with the club. He will also go alongside Roberto Firmino, Naby Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, whose contracts all run out on the 1st of July. It marks the end of an era for Klopp's side, with both Milner and Firmino among the longest serving players at the club, having been signed under Brendan Rodgers. The pair were at one stage both expected to sign new deals with Liverpool, but have now opted to pursue new challenges elsewhere. So it wasn't the fact that Liverpool didn't want to keep them. Milner and Firmino have decided now's the time. And it goes on to say here, the pair were at one stage, according to David Maddock, the number 7 this evening included an offer of a coaching role. So Klopp had offered him a coaching role. The manager was said to have been desperate to keep Milner at the club, but informal talks never resulted in a concrete offer, and the midfielder sought to leave. He's expected to join Brighton on a free transfer, though it is widely reported that both Burnley and former club Leeds are interested. Now keep an eye on the Burnley one, because Vincent Kompany and Craig Bellamy are there, and I just think that that would be a brilliant signing for Burnley. He'll play more at Burnley, I think, than he would at Brighton. So I would just keep, I know going back to Leeds would be brilliant, but basically, excuse me, I've had these stupid phone calls all day. Let me just turn that off, sorry about that. Basically, if it was me, I would go Burnley with Vincent Kompany, because it would be a great first season for them. You know, if they can have someone with the experience of James Milner. So it says here anyway, Maddock's claim falls in line with the comments from Klopp back in January, which suggested that Milner would prefer to play on. He wanted to integrate him into his staff. We have different plans for Millie, but Millie wants to keep playing, the manager said. Do you know what I think he's trying to do? I think he wants to beat the all-time appearance record in the Premier League. He wants to go down as the longest ever serving Premier League player. I don't know, I'm sure Gareth Barry's the one that's in the front and Ryan Giggs is up there. But if he plays and he's fit enough, if he just keeps signing for newly promoted sides like Burnley will give him a 2-year deal. You know, he's as fit as, we're not talking about Paul Merson here or a Paul Gascoigne or players that tailed off with their fitness levels towards their mid to late 30s. This man is a machine. He can run and run and run and run and run. He's got no fat on him. He's got pure muscle. I mean, I'm actually a big fan of David Goggins, who on YouTube is a former cockroach sprayer that was £300, and now he's one of the hardest men in the world because he's a Navy SEAL and he's completed all the Special Forces training, and he can run 120 miles without stopping. James Milner is as fit, up there with a David Goggins in terms of a supreme athlete, and that's why I just think he should be a great player. I mean, I would have kept him for a couple more seasons, but I just think he wants to play. He knows at Liverpool now they're going to bring in 3 or 4 midfielders, so he's probably going to get substitute appearances, a handful of games. Whereas if he goes to a Burnley, he'll play once a week. He'll play once a week, and he won't play 3 times a week. He'll probably come on for 20-minute cameos midweek, but he'll play once a week. He'll probably play all the league games and be rested for domestic cups, be rested for midweek games, but he'll play the Saturday matches and he'll get a week to recover. That's what I think Kompany and Craig Bellamy will bring. And I'd actually love to see it, because we're all love James Milner. It'd be great to see him go back to Leeds, actually, because my mum and my mum's side of the family are from Leeds, and he gets such a welcome. But anyway, I'll go further into this piece that I'm reading out. He said, I will consider Liverpool as his club. That means that I'm pretty sure the club should use his character and mindset, because it's really special. There might be more fancy players out there, but nobody with a similar mindset, and that makes him incredibly valuable to us. It would not have been the first time that Klopp attempted to convince a player to stay as a coach rather than join another club, having done so with Kolo Touré. Toure instead chose to spend one final season as a player at Celtic before making his first foray into management as assistant to Rodgers in Glasgow. In December, Milner discussed the prospect of becoming a coach in the future, having already begun his coaching badges with UEFA. In football, you see a manager come in, do well, and get a new contract for 5 years and get sacked 6 months later, he told Ben Foster in an interview for Amazon Prime. It's like, do you want that stress? It's crazy. So Milner's sort of umming and ahhing about whether he wants to be a manager, but so was Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick said he didn't ever want to be a manager, and now, I know he got knocked out in the playoffs to Coventry, but he's took to it like a duck to water, so it's just one of them. So I'm just going to go through the comments. Looking good, Neil. Cheers, Pam. Wish he would have stayed as our coach, such a role model. Yeah, cheers, Pam. Yeah, and you're more awake too. Yeah, I was a little bit, I won't say rough, but I've been up about 10-15 minutes this morning and I just decided to do a live video, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Aston Villa on Saturday, and yeah, the camera quality looks so much better, doesn't it? So I'm going to get some sound equipment next, like a podcast, the microphone and all that, and it'll just keep getting better. And during pre-season as well, I'm going to learn a lot more about these things that I'm putting up in the front. I want to learn how to get a comment section where it's like a video printer at the bottom. I don't care if it costs me a couple of £100, I'll pay for it. I want to get everything sort of done. So yeah, so brilliant. Thanks for supporting me. Get sharing the group and go on YouTube. I'll put a link on the comments now. Can you please click? It's free. You don't have to put bank details in. It's nothing like that. A lot of people get panicked by the word subscribe. It's a click of a button. No details, not a name and address, nothing. Click, boom. That's as simple as it is. YouTube, click. So if you can do that, I need to get 1,000 subscribers so I can broadcast live on YouTube. And then eventually I'd like to start doing watch-alongs, because if I can get the group massive, then it's worth doing if there's 100 people with me, or a couple of hundred with me that want to stay with me for the game. That haven't got the channels, and rather listen to me or see me, they do work, these watch-alongs. So yeah, brilliant. So can you get sharing the group, get invited to Reds, and get clicking on the YouTube link that I'm going to put now, and you'll never walk alone.